They promised us it would be nothing, a brief visitor from the stars, an interstellar wanderer that would sweep past the red planet and disappear back into the eternal darkness from which it came. For months, astronomers calculated trajectories, ran simulations, and assured the world that 3I/Atlas posed no threat, that it was just another cosmic curiosity, another object to catalog and study before it vanished forever. But the James Webb Space Telescope has just delivered data that shatters every comfortable assumption we held. The calculations have been revised, the projections recalculated, and now, for the first time since this object was discovered, scientists are no longer talking about a flyby. They're talking about impact. 3I/Atlas is on a collision course with Mars. And what makes this revelation truly terrifying isn't just the trajectory itself. It's what the object is doing as it approaches, the rhythmic pulses, the precise adjustments, the behavior that looks less like a drifting rock and more like something under intelligent control, something navigating, something aiming, and the red planet is directly in its crosshairs. When 3I/Atlas first appeared in our detection systems on July 1st, it seemed like every other interstellar object we'd encountered. Fast, unusual, but ultimately explainable within our existing frameworks. It was moving at incredible speed, nearly 87 kilometers per second relative to our Sun. At that velocity, it could traverse the Earth-Moon distance in less than 80 minutes. Impressive, certainly, but not unprecedented for an object ejected from another star system by gravitational interactions we barely understand. What should have concerned us immediately, what should have triggered every alarm from the moment of detection, was how this object was behaving. Because comets don't act this way, natural bodies decelerate as they approach stellar systems. They fragment under thermal stress. They tumble chaotically through space. They follow paths dictated purely by gravity. 3I/Atlas defied all of this. It began accelerating, not dramatically, not obviously enough to cause immediate panic, but steadily, consistently. Week after week, its velocity increased in ways that couldn't be explained by solar wind or radiation pressure, and its path tightened. Small course corrections became apparent in the tracking data, adjustments that brought it closer to a direct intercept with Mars, as if it wasn't drifting at all, as if something was steering it. The object's coma, that halo of gas and sublimating material that surrounds active comets, underwent a dramatic transformation. It doubled in brightness within a matter of weeks. Spectroscopic instruments detected something unprecedented: massive spikes in ultraviolet radiation, carbon dioxide outgassing at rates never before witnessed in any natural celestial body. This wasn't the gentle release of volatiles from ice slowly warmed by distant sunlight. This was violent, energetic, and disturbingly regular. Then Webb's advanced sensors captured the smoking gun, pulses emanating from the object's tail, not random jets caused by rotating ice deposits catching sunlight at different angles, not chaotic bursts from thermal stress fractures. These were rhythmic, precise, occurring at exact 17-minute intervals, like a metronome, like programmed thrusters firing on schedule, like something using its own emissions to adjust trajectory the way spacecraft use reaction control systems. As Webb continued its observations, as ground-based observatories added their data, as NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory ran simulation after simulation with increasingly sophisticated models, the numbers painted a picture that made every scientist reviewing them pause. What had been calculated as a safe passage, a close approach that would bring 3I/Atlas within several million kilometers of Mars, before it continued its journey into the outer solar system, was no longer safe. The revised calculations showed an impact distance of just 1.95 million kilometers. In cosmic terms, that's touching distance. And more alarming still, the simulations demonstrated that even a minor increase in velocity, a fraction of what was already being measured in those periodic gas pulses, would be sufficient to shift the trajectory from near miss to direct collision. Think about the implications. This object is operating on a knife's edge, balanced perfectly between passing by and striking. and it possesses the capability to tip that balance at any moment. Just one more pulse, one more adjustment, and Mars becomes the target. The level of precision suggested by the data is completely unprecedented in natural objects. Comets don't use outgassing as propulsion. The physics don't work that way. The forces are too weak and too chaotic. But 3I/Atlas is different. It's employing its CO2 emissions like precision thrusters, making trajectory adjustments with accuracy that would be remarkable for human-engineered spacecraft. And what makes this even more disturbing is the alignment. Those thrust pulses aren't random. They're oriented perfectly with Mars's orbital plane, as if whoever or whatever is controlling this object understands orbital mechanics, understands gravitational dynamics, knows exactly how to position itself for optimal approach. Scientists monitoring this phenomenon aren't just tracking an astronomical object anymore. They're watching something take aim, and the window for potential impact keeps narrowing. Between mid-September and the end of the month, any single emission event could be the one that seals the outcome. This is no longer relegated to speculation from internet forums or science fiction writers. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, a respected voice in the scientific community, who previously suggested that Oumuamua might be artificial, has now published research proposing what many once considered unthinkable: that 3I/Atlas may be an engineered probe. And he's not making this argument in isolation. The evidence is mounting. Radar returns from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter show reflections consistent with metallic surfaces, not the soft, diffuse echoes you'd expect from ice and porous rock, but hard returns, the kind generated by manufactured structures. NASA sources, speaking confidentially, have described the radar data as unlike anything in our experience with natural objects. And amateur astronomers with high-end imaging equipment have captured something even more puzzling: green beams, needle-like streams of light. 3 distinct emissions converging toward Mars, pulsing in perfect synchronization with the gas venting, as if the object isn't just releasing volatiles, as if it's transmitting, broadcasting, communicating with something on or near the red planet. Loeb's hypothesis is bold, but increasingly difficult to dismiss on scientific grounds. What if 3I/Atlas is deliberately targeting Mars? Not necessarily to destroy it, though destruction may be a consequence, but to deliver something: a payload, biological material, technology, information encoded in the very structure of impact. The approach is too precise to be accidental, too controlled to be natural. Mars is being approached with surgical precision, and humanity finds itself as witnesses to an operation we barely comprehend and have absolutely no power to influence or stop. If 3I/Atlas strikes Mars, the consequences cascade in ways that are difficult to fully comprehend. With an estimated mass of 10 billion tons and a relative velocity of 57 kilometers per second at impact, the collision would release energy exceeding 2 million megatons. That's several orders of magnitude beyond the most powerful thermonuclear device ever tested by humanity. The impact crater would span 60 kilometers in diameter, extend 5 kilometers deep into the Martian crust. Ejecta would be hurled across Mars's orbit. Some debris would escape the planet's gravitational well entirely and drift through interplanetary space. And yes, some of that material would eventually intersect Earth's orbit, carrying with it whatever compounds, whatever materials, whatever biological or technological remnants are embedded in 3I/Atlas's structure. But the physical devastation represents only one dimension of the catastrophe. Mars hosts decades of accumulated scientific investment. Rovers like Perseverance and Curiosity conducting active research, orbiters mapping surface features and monitoring atmospheric conditions, experiments specifically designed to search for biosignatures of past or present life, climate data repositories spanning years of continuous observation. An impact wouldn't merely destroy hardware, it would obliterate irreplaceable datasets, sever our communication infrastructure, and potentially trigger biological contamination scenarios that no planning has adequately prepared us for. Because if 3I/Atlas carries organic compounds, if it's transporting molecules or even dormant organisms from another star system, then the collision becomes more than destructive. It becomes transformative, and not in any way we can predict or manage. Space agencies across the globe have begun responding. The European Space Agency, Roscosmos in Russia, China's CNSA, Japan's JAXA, all have quietly initiated planetary defense protocols, not against fictional alien armadas, but against a single object that behaves suspiciously like a vehicle, like something with purpose, like something that knows exactly what it's doing and where it's going. For years, astrobiologists have theorized that Mars once harbored life, that deep beneath its oxidized surface, locked away in subsurface ice deposits and ancient geological formations, dormant microbial life might still persist. It's one of the primary motivations behind our extensive Mars exploration program. But if 3I/Atlas strikes, if the impact energy cracks open the deeper crustal layers and exposes reservoirs we've never been able to access, all of that becomes a biological wildcard. The heat would sterilize the immediate impact zone, but shockwaves would propagate throughout the planet, fracturing rock formations, opening fissures, releasing whatever might be trapped inside. And if 3I/Atlas is carrying organic material, if its emission trails contain synthetic biology or genetic information, then the fusion of Martian life with whatever this object delivers could result in cross-contamination on a planetary scale. Some biologists are describing it as deliberate panspermia, not life spreading naturally across cosmic distances over geological timescales, but life being intentionally delivered, seeded, installed, with Mars serving as the incubation chamber. As 3I/Atlas approached its closest point to Mars, Webb focused its most sensitive instruments on the object for one final comprehensive scan. The initial results were immediately classified. For 48 hours, nothing was released to the public. When data finally emerged, it had been heavily sanitized. Vague, non-committal. But leaks from inside the Webb program painted a radically different picture. The telescope's spectrographic instruments detected synthetic polymers, molecular structures resembling human-manufactured plastics, carbon nanotubes intermixed with natural volatiles. These aren't compounds that form spontaneously in the vacuum of interstellar space. These aren't byproducts of natural cometary chemistry. These are engineered materials, and the spectroscopic analysis revealed isotopic ratios that don't match any cataloged object in our solar system, anomalies in carbon and hydrogen signatures that have no known natural explanation. 3I/Atlas contains materials that should not exist in nature, and all of it is heading directly toward a world that may still harbor indigenous life. Webb's findings were shared through classified channels with major space agencies worldwide. Emergency coordination groups convened, not because anyone believed we possessed the capability to deflect or destroy the object, but because time was running out to understand what was actually approaching. And then NASA made an unexpected move. They went completely silent. Press briefings ceased. Data releases stopped. Telemetry feeds from Mars surface assets began showing unexplained gaps. Inquiries from journalists were stonewalled or redirected. Something fundamental had changed behind the scenes. And then a whistleblower leaked a classified transmission, a brief phrase repeated across multiple encrypted communication channels. Impact protocol initiated. What does that phrase mean? No one outside the highest security clearances knows with certainty. But sources within the aerospace community claim that encrypted signals were transmitted from Earth-based facilities to all operational equipment on Mars. Why would we do that? There's no known technology capable of deflecting 3I/Atlas. No way to intercept or destroy it. So these signals weren't defensive measures. They were preparatory, as if whatever's about to occur, we want our assets positioned and ready, or more disturbingly, as if we're signaling, confirming our presence, acknowledging that we're aware, that we're watching, that we understand at least partially what's happening. And if 3I/Atlas possesses any capability to detect and interpret electromagnetic transmissions, then we may have just announced ourselves. We may have just confirmed that we see it, that we know what it is. And that changes the entire dynamic of what's unfolding. A team of cryptographers at the SETI Institute approached the data from an unconventional angle. They extracted the raw trajectory parameters, velocity vectors, gravitational interaction coefficients, time of closest approach calculations, every data point known to observatories worldwide. Then they encoded it all into binary format and applied the same compression algorithms used in theoretical deep space communication protocols, and structure emerged. Not randomness, not the chaos of natural phenomena, but pattern, numerical sequences corresponding to atomic numbers, carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron, the fundamental building blocks of both organic life and technological systems, interspersed with prime number progressions, mathematical constants that would be recognizable to any sufficiently advanced intelligence, the kind of encoding you'd employ if you wanted to transmit information to recipients who didn't share your language, your sensory apparatus, or your frame of reference, which raises a terrifying possibility. 3. I/Atlas's entire flight path may constitute a signal, a message transmitted not through radio waves or laser pulses, but through motion itself, through the physics of trajectory, through the mathematics of orbital mechanics. We're not just observing an object approaching Mars. We're witnessing communication encoded in spacetime. And the impact event itself, whether it occurs or not, forms part of the message. Collision or near miss. Either outcome conveys meaning, and the answer has already been written into the equations governing its approach. Planetary scientists analyzing the refined trajectory noticed something that sent waves of unease through the research community. 3. I/Atlas's updated path passes directly over Elysium Planitia, a geologically young region of Mars characterized by strangely symmetrical surface features, concentric ridge formations, spiral-like geological flows, patterns that eerily mirror Fibonacci sequences found throughout nature and mathematics. These features have been documented for years, cataloged but never adequately explained. What no one noticed until now was the alignment. The exact vector of 3 I/Atlas's descent corresponds precisely with a circular depression at the geometric center of these formations. A basin 3.5 kilometers in diameter with no confirmed impact origin. No volcanic explanation. And at the center of this enigmatic basin lies a deposit of crystalline silicate minerals with optical properties found nowhere else on Mars. When solar radiation strikes these crystals, they emit brief pulses of infrared light at regular intervals. For years, it was dismissed as a mineralogical curiosity, an interesting geological oddity. But now, with 3 I/Atlas heading directly toward it, the question becomes unavoidable. Is this a beacon, a navigation marker, a rendezvous coordinate? And if so, who placed it there, and when? Webb detected something else that defies conventional explanation. Trailing behind 3 I/Atlas at a consistent distance of 0.07 astronomical units was a shadow. Not debris, not gas, not any form of matter that our instruments could directly detect, but an absence, a void, a region of space where background starlight dimmed in ways that suggested something was present but invisible to our sensors. Radar pulses found nothing. Infrared imaging showed no thermal signature. But photometric analysis revealed a distinct drop in light intensity. And that darkness moved in perfect synchronization with 3 I/Atlas, maintaining exact separation distance, unaffected by gravitational perturbations, unaffected by the object's acceleration, moving as if connected by forces we don't understand. When visualized through mathematical modeling, it formed a perfect orbital configuration. Something was accompanying 3 I/Atlas, not physically attached, not colliding, but mirroring its motion with impossible precision, as if tethered by invisible bonds. And if what we can observe is merely the messenger, then whatever exists in that shadow might represent the actual cargo, the true payload, the real purpose hidden behind what we can see. Astronomers analyzing the timing of 3I/Atlas's approach discovered patterns that defy probability. The object's closest approaches to the Sun, Earth, and Mars correspond to dates of profound astronomical significance. September 23rd, October 5th, November 11th. These aren't random coordinates on a calendar. They represent rare gravitational synchronizations, orbital resonances that occur in 54-year cycles. The last time the inner planets occupied similar relative positions during a cometary approach was 1908. The Tunguska event, an explosion over Siberia that devastated 2,000 square kilometers of forest. The exact cause was never definitively established, but now, with 3I/Atlas arriving on a matching cycle, researchers are questioning whether Tunguska represents the last iteration of this pattern, whether we're witnessing a phenomenon that repeats across decades, across centuries, perhaps across millennia. And if it's cyclical, then it's not natural, it's designed. And cycles in astronomy are always signatures of intention. A neuroscience research team at Princeton made a discovery that pushes this phenomenon beyond physics into realms most scientists are uncomfortable acknowledging. They exposed test subjects to the frequency patterns emitted by 3I/Atlas, specifically the 17-minute pulse intervals captured by Webb's instruments. And something extraordinary occurred. Neural synchronization, brainwave patterns aligning across multiple subjects, in different rooms, isolated from each other, unaware they were being monitored simultaneously. This isn't simple physiological resonance. This is entrainment at a cognitive level, as if the signal carries information that affects consciousness directly, information that bypasses sensory processing and influences neural activity itself. And if 3I/Atlas can modulate brain function from millions of kilometers away, then what does that reveal about its fundamental nature? What if it's not a probe in any conventional sense? What if it's not a spacecraft at all? What if it's something else entirely? An idea given physical form, a concept moving through space, a message that doesn't need to be decoded intellectually, because experiencing it changes you at a neurological level. And once you're changed, you become part of what it's transmitting. Ancient astronomical records may contain evidence that this has happened before. Researchers cross-referencing 3I/Atlas's trajectory with historical sky charts discovered something impossible to dismiss. A pattern designated the flame serpent, described independently in Babylonian astronomical texts, Mayan codices, Tibetan cosmological manuscripts, each culture documenting a celestial body that descends from the outer darkness, curves near the sun, and targets the Red Wanderer. Mars. The trajectory descriptions match. The timing correlates. And one pre-Incan calendar stone depicts 4 radiating lines emanating from Mars after the descent of this celestial visitor. When analyzed through modern photogrammetric techniques, those carved lines match Webb's projected debris dispersion pattern for an impact event with remarkable precision, which suggests someone witnessed this before, not recently, but thousands of years ago, which means 3I/Atlas isn't making its inaugural pass. This is a return, a cycle completing, and Mars remembers what's coming. Then Mars itself began responding in ways that defy all natural explanation. The ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter detected xenon isotope concentrations in the upper atmosphere, rising from below, emerging from deep crustal fissures near Cerberus Fossae, one of the most seismically active regions on the planet. Ground tremors intensified, subsurface temperature measurements showed increases, and magnetometers detected a structured magnetic pulse, repeating at 17-minute intervals, the exact same frequency as 3I/Atlas's emissions. The planet isn't passively awaiting impact, it's reacting, responding, as if something dormant beneath the surface is awakening, as if Mars has been waiting for this signal, for this moment. And now, with 3I/Atlas approaching, whatever has been sleeping for eons has begun to stir. The final piece came from archived data, a thermal scan captured by the Mars Odyssey orbiter 2 decades ago, showing a faint heat signature beneath Utopia Planitia, dismissed at the time as instrumental noise or solar reflection artifacts. But when the same region was rescanned in light of 3I/Atlas's approach, the signature had returned, stronger, more defined, and it matched the geometric configuration of an ancient glyph carved into nearby rock formations. A descending spiral, a circle, 2 planetary bodies in alignment, as if Mars itself is a repository, a recording medium encoded with information in geological structures. And 3I/Atlas represents the key, not to destroy, but to unlock, to activate, to complete something initiated long before humanity emerged as a species. High-resolution orbital imagery captured something that stopped every analyst who saw it. Movement in the Martian dust, not wind-driven, not mechanical, but patterns forming, 2 concentric ovals expanding outward as if carved from beneath the surface. Over 4 hours, they shifted and merged until they created an unmistakable shape, an eye, tilted at precisely 23.5 degrees, Earth's axial tilt, as if Mars is looking back at us or reflecting us, showing us that it perceives, that it knows, that this entire event has been anticipated, prepared for, perhaps even requested. And we're not witnessing an attack, we're witnessing recognition, acknowledgement, a response to signals we may have sent without even knowing we were transmitting. Webb's final spectral analysis of the molecular trail streaming from 3I/Atlas revealed something that shook every astrobiologist who reviewed it. Nucleotide-like sequences, structures similar to RNA, not identical to terrestrial biology, but close enough to be unmistakable, organized for replication, for transmission, for integration with existing genetic systems. This isn't passive material, this is information. Biological code embedded in sublimating vapor, life expressed not as cells or organisms, but as instruction, as language, designed to interact with whatever intelligence encounters it, to respond to interpretation. And if 3I/Atlas is carrying this code toward Mars, then impact isn't annihilation. It's delivery, seeding, the initiation of something we cannot predict or control. As the final hours approach, as Mars, Earth, and the Sun move into an alignment that hasn't occurred in over a century, as 3I/Atlas positions itself at the intersection of ancient monuments and modern mathematics, one truth becomes inescapable. This isn't random, this is choreographed. This object didn't simply arrive, it performed, it synchronized, it communicated through motion and timing and the language of orbital mechanics. And now it's completing something that may have been set in motion before our civilization existed, before we looked up and wondered what the lights in the sky meant. Mars may be the stage, but we're the audience, and we were never meant to remain passive. Every telescope we constructed, every signal we broadcast, every question we asked about our place in the cosmos, all of it was heard, and now the answer is arriving. Not in words, but in alignment, in impact, in the collision of past and future. And when it happens, when 3I/Atlas completes its journey, something will transform. Not just on Mars, but here, in us. Because perhaps we're not observing a threat. Perhaps we're witnessing an invitation. And the real question isn't whether Mars will survive the impact. It's whether we're prepared for what comes after.